Robin Hood Radio presents Stage Right or Not with Michele Willens. Michele is a longtime journalist and herself is a published playwright of several theatrical works. She's a frequent contributor to the Huffington Post, Daily Beast, and the Atlantic websites.
Another opening of another show.
Well, the two words in New York theater continue to be COVID and Tonys. Billy Crystal tested positive last week, and Mr. Saturday Night was down for several nights. I was scheduled to see a new musical in New York Theater Workshop Sunday, canceled due to some positive tests. On a brighter note, this is a critical week for a number of shows, those that may need a Tony to survive. Now, that would include Paradise Square for colored girls who have considered suicide, Girl from the North Country, and a few others. I checked out the half-price ticket booth last Wednesday, as I often do. Virtually every show, except Lion King, Moulin Rouge, Hamilton, and the only new one, 6, were selling very cheap tickets, proving A, tourists seeking shows could care less about the Tonys, and rarely watch the broadcast, by the way, and B, this is your moment to get a good seat. I took advantage to finally catch Hangmen. The theater was so empty that they invited everyone to come down and take orchestra seats. That show is up for a few acting awards, but let's face it, this Martin McDonagh piece is a dark, if wickedly funny, play, and difficult to follow that brogue at times. But it includes some relevant talk about the necessary or not use of different forms of death penalty, including some unappetizing descriptions of the electric chair, sizzling like a steak is one I recall. Hangmen is best suited really for off-Broadway, where it was originally staged at the Atlantic in 2018, I believe. The Broadway production was one of the first shows to completely cancel as a pandemic hit, but then it had second thoughts and came back in 2022. It's beautifully acted, despite the occasional noose. There is humor and strong work from 10 excellent actors. But like so much of Broadway, this was considered a limited run, at least they claim it was, and its closing date is imminent, I believe. Speaking of off-Broadway companies, I visited the Public to see its latest called Fat Ham, which just won the Pulitzer Prize for playwright James I. James. Now, it's based on his script because it had not even been on a stage yet. I think there was a video of it. That was the only thing. Now, we could talk about questionable Pulitzer Prize winners of recent years. Annie Baker's The Flick, for example. Fairview, for example. But obviously, they mean something, and they have certainly caught the racial reckoning of late. Fat Ham is a take on Hamlet, but even if you don't get the references, it's funny, even rollicking. 95 minutes and a lot of fun. To be or not to be becomes a different kind of query, pardon the pun. It asks who we can decide to be in a world that tries to define that for us. Can you be soft? Can you be queer? Can you be honest? Scene-wise, we are at a family barbecue of sorts. The family squabbles a lot. A ghost appears. The fourth wall and topical lines are employed. One about that HBO show with the dragons. Another about PBS. Can you watch too much PBS? Asks one character. So you either go along with this journey, even forgetting the Shakespeare thing, though he too gets a call out, and you'll admire the comedic effort on that small stage. Now, Hamlet in real life was the Bard's longest play, and it seems never to go away for long. Right now, the Metropolitan Opera is doing a version. The always audacious Armory has a theatrical one going up. In Los Angeles, the Antaeus Theater Company's production of Hamlet, which just opened and is a very good classical theater, apparently meets the challenge. As one critic there noted, the actors don't dally or fiddle for motivation. They speak the line and move on with the story quickly. Well, I guess you can do it quickly. So many of the Bard's works, of course, have been used for contemporary purposes. Hello, West Side Story. And another one out there now is called Romeo and Bernadette, a musical tale of Verona and Brooklyn. It's supposed to be very funny. I'll try to catch it. It runs 2 hours. It's up till June 26th, and it can be found at Theater 555, which is at 555 West 42nd Street. Speaking as I was about the public theater, and in fact about PBS, get thee to that network and enjoy its latest American Masters about the public's visionary founder, Joseph Papp. He also gave us free Shakespeare in the Park, of course, and groundbreaking plays like Hair, Chorus Line, and Hamilton. Papp believed great art was for everyone. It's worth watching. So finally, the Tonys. They're on Sunday night, so by this time next week, we'll be looking back at them. Few of my predictions, by the way, they're very strong candidates, strong categories. Best Dramatic Actress, I'm picking LaShawne's because she's not in a musical, then it's unusual, and she did a great job in Trouble in Mind. Dramatic Actor, well, you figure it's got to be one of the three Lehman brothers, most likely Simon Russell Beale. On the other hand, they can cancel each other out, in which case I would have a upset win for Ruben Santiago Hudson. So there you go. Best Actor in a Musical, well, probably Jacques Spivey in A Strange Loop. Well, he may be the front runner, but I'm guessing Miles Frost as a young Michael Jackson. And of course, you can never count out Hugh Jackman, who apparently has been doing some nice campaigning. Best Actress in a Musical, I'm going with Sharon B. Clarke in Caroline or Change. Best Original Drama, you got to go with Lehman Trilogy. Best Original Musical, well, how do you not do Six? I mean, it's not my favorite by any means, but it's such a big hit, you almost have to congratulate it for something. Personally, I'd vote for Mr. Saturday Night, but that's me. Best Revival of a Musical, apparently Tony voters have never loved Caroline or Change, even the last time around. I didn't know that, but I've heard that, which I would think should win the category over Company, but, well, we lost Stephen Sondheim this past year, and that may be the way to honor him with Company. Best Revival Drama, that's a tough one. Most predicted will be Take Me Out, which actually won Best Drama when it first opened. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say Trouble in Mind, which reminded us of the first black woman important playwright who was long gone, but having a bit of a moment. Anyway, I'll stop there for now. There's many more categories. And one question I'll leave you with, Jill. Does Patti LuPone have to win for Company just because she's Patti LuPone?
That's rhetorical, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, you vote against Patti LuPone. I mean, it's the only reason people are going to see Companies for Patti LuPone. I don't know. Didn't do it for me, but.
And let's not forget that had one of the New York Times' shall we say, most memorable. It's in the top 10 of memorable reviews.
You mean because it was negative?
Yes, but not only was it negative, it was catty. No pun intended.
Yeah,
it was,
and I agreed with it, actually. I didn't think the switching of the genders really worked very well. I did not care for it very much. My feminist daughter stormed out at intermission. The lead actress.
she did. That's a good sign.
She missed. I mean, she just felt it was the wrong tack on something. Anyway, but people are enjoying it. It's still up. The lead actress did not get nominated, which is surprising because that's a very big role, and certainly the man who played it originally won all the awards. So maybe that was.
Well, also, can I just go out on a limb here and just say this is my opinion and this is your show, so you are totally. I'm just covering myself every which way, but maybe it just didn't work. What I mean by that is, there's certain. Wasn't there a Steve Martin movie where he switched with someone? I can't remember the name of it, but I was just thinking. I was just thinking if I switched personalities or whatever with my brother. Yeah, okay. Hey, we grew up. We had the same parents. We did this, and this. Like, it would so not work on so many levels.
It's a good point. I think in a funny way, you're right. Gender is a harder one to switch than color. All these shows the colors changed, and those mostly work. Why not in a way? Unless there's a odd reason that they're talking about something that doesn't make sense if you're now black and not white. That seems to work. Listen, Joe Papp did that years ago. He was the first one to. But the gender switch is definitely questionable. For so many reasons, not because girls are softer.
No, it's got nothing to do with that. It's just where I always end up on this question, and again, making me incredibly unpopular, and one of the reasons that I don't go out is I always say, okay, do you have a pet? Usually the answer is yes. And I say, turn it over. And people look at me a little quizzically, or they start laughing right then and there because, the fact is, that's what you get. So, yeah. And you can take it from there and do whatever you want, but I'm not entering into people's choices. I mean, they are welcome to do whatever, but it's like it's like your baseline. You start somewhere.
Well, don't forget that Ruth Negga, who plays Lady Macbeth in the current production, played Hamlet herself in Brooklyn last year and got very good reviews. I wasn't here, so you got women playing Hamlet.
But you had men playing. I mean, for years in
Shakespeare's time.
Always. So it's not that that's so.
Yeah.
It's not that part. It's the fact that Company was originally written about a commitment phobe.
That's right.
And that commitment phobe happened to be male.
Yeah.
And sorry, it happened to be male. No aspersions on the male sex. It just, Bobby happened to be male, and the show was centered around it. And if you make Bobby, I don't know whether they make a Roberta or something, it's like, okay.
Well, it's still Bobby with IE.
Fine, whatever.
Sondheim apparently signed off on it. It played in London. It did well there.
Yeah.
And apparently signed off on it.
I'm not saying that he didn't. In the same way, I'm not saying, who was it that... Oh God, there's a word for it too that I'm not reconfiguring, re-imaging, not repurposing, that, and someone did it with all this. It's fine, you can do that. It doesn't alter the fact, however, that there is an original.
Yeah, it's a strange one. I didn't like Company this version for different reasons. Not necessarily the feminist thing, because hey, listen, there are women who are commitment phobe, but there was something about it that just kind of lost its something. It just kind of lost the energy that he brought to it, or I don't know what it was. It was really more the production than the fact of the switch, the big switch, as they say. Anyway, next week we'll be talking about all this in the past tense, and that'll be interesting.
Stage Right or Not with Michele Willens, produced in the studios of Robin Hood Radio, robinhoodradio.com.